Prime Minister, the Liberal member for Bega, Andrew Constance, reflecting my own experience in the region, stated, and I quote, "At the forums I've been at over the past 2 nights, the plea for help from business is about protecting casual employees and the need for a cash injection now. People are reluctant about loans." On Monday, the Prime Minister ridiculed Labor for standing up for businesses that don't want to take on more debt. Does the Prime Minister have the same response to the Liberal member for Bega?
The Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I can confirm that over 700,000 small businesses in the bushfire-affected communities have automatically been provided deferrals by the ATO. The member for Bega has highlighted the issue of cash flow and the impact on cash flow for small businesses. Around 90,000 of these small businesses obviously have staff. They have also provided deferrals to 445,000 entities related to these small businesses. These automatic deferrals are in place for another 3 months until the 28th of May. Overall, they're also alleviating cash flow pressures in communities. Overall lodgement and payment deferrals have been granted to 3.9 million taxpayers. That's individuals, businesses and self-managed super funds. They are prioritising cash flow back into communities. The ATO has also automatically prioritised refunds for bushfire impacted communities over the past few months. From the 15th of November to the 5th of February, the ATO has issued over 420,000 refunds to the value of $3.2 billion to around 348,000 taxpayers in bushfire-affected communities. And the ATO Emergency Support Hotline is available to those outside of the identified impact areas who are seeking assistance with lodgement and payment deferrals. Mr Speaker, the member would be aware of the grant programs that are available to small businesses, and he would be very aware and he'd be pleased to know that of those programs, Mr Speaker, those small businesses are now starting to take up those grants where they're eligible for those grants through the program being administered by the New South Wales government. But, Mr Speaker, the member opposite seems to be suggesting that a different approach should be taken. I'm responding to the member's question. The suggestion being made that somehow the government should be providing an insurance for income loss, Mr Speaker, across the country in relation to any natural disaster. If that were to be the case, that would be in stark contrast. Mr Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition wants to make a contribution, he can wait till after question time, Mr Speaker, or he can ask a question. I'm trying to address the very serious question of supports for small business, which the member has asked me in good faith. Mr Speaker, that it is not the government's policy to provide cash flow assistance for businesses for income loss that have not had direct impact of natural disasters. That is the policy followed by the Labor government when they were in power. It is the policy that we have applied to other natural disasters, in particular up in North Queensland, whether up in Townsville or across the areas affected by those floods. Mr Speaker, in the areas you're talking about, there is some 165,082 businesses alone that have employees. If we were to follow the approach that Labor seem to be suggesting, that alone would be some $8 billion, and if you applied it to all businesses, it would be $22 billion. Mr Speaker, the opposition cannot be taken seriously when they're suggesting those sorts of